All right, well, here's the next build. It's a 1985 International Cargostar. It was originally owned by the post office. It had a box on it, and you know, that was many years ago. So now we're gonna get it back to the shop and we're gonna start building this truck. I'm gonna build into something I really think I'm gonna enjoy. It's gonna be a kind of a rat rod build. It's currently a 6.9 IDI Allison AT545, 22,000 GVW, something like that. But anyways, get ready, guys. Here's the next one. This is such a cool truck. When I found this truck, I was in love with it. The body's in pretty decent shape. It's got a little bit of rust issues here and there, but not a lot. I'm very excited about this build. I hope you guys are too. Let's get her home. Got to take the back roads. It's got some questionable tires on it for sure. 6.9 IDI isn't exactly a super powerful engine, but look, we've got brakes and they work. Let's get her home. Well, now we got it in the shop, and I got to tell you, I bought this truck like 2 years ago, and I have built this truck in my head in so many different ways, you just can't imagine. When I bought this, my intention was to buy this truck and turn it into something we could use on a daily basis. Something that would be useful to what we do and support, because if I just built it as a toy, I will never use this thing. It would just sit around like it has been. So in my mind, I thought the first thing I came up with was maybe we should build us a shop truck out of this. That'd be kind of cool. Just put a flatbed on it like it kind of is now and use it to go run parts and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, that's great, but it kind of tops out at 52, and sometimes I got to go a little distance to get some stuff. So we'd have to change the gearing. Well, if we change the gearing, we have to do something with the engine, because it's just a 6.9 IDI and it's really low horsepower. I mean, I don't know what them things were from the factory. 170 or lower, I think is what they were. And it's got an Allison AT545. That's a horsepower robbing pig of a transmission with a non-lockup converter. Creates tons and tons of heat. So I don't want that. It's got four-wheel disc brakes, hydraulic, which is good, but it's got them miserable Dayton wheels that I absolutely despise. I hate them things. I know a lot of the purists love them things and think they need to stay. Well, that's great. You can do it on yours. I hate them, and I'm the guy that works on it. So what I've decided to do, at least at this moment, is to, instead of trying to upgrade all these pieces individual and using this factory frame, which is actually not bad at all. I mean, it's really a pretty decent frame, at least until we take the bed off, which I expect to see the flange. Top flange might be a little boogered, but we're going to take this bed off. You can see it has a hinge plate here. And I'll take you to the back. You can see this. There's actually a scissor hoist up in there. Right there's a scissor hoist. Now whether it's any good or not, I don't know. Might be froze up. Looks like it's a pretty light duty one, but we're going to take it apart and see. But look at that frame. And that frame's in pretty good shape. You can see the rust jacking right there. It's already started. Can't get through a video without saying rust jacking. But I just don't think this is the right frame to start with for what I have in mind. So I think what we're going to do is pull the cab off and use it on a different chassis. Now for the twist on this truck build, the twist is the viewer participation build was so enjoyable to me that for this build, what we're going to do is we're going to be inviting some people out to help us build this truck. So if you're a guy who's either been here already and has helped us out, or wasn't chosen but would like to come out for a day or so, do some work on this build. It's going to be a long project because there's a lot going on, and we have to do a lot of work. But if you want to be part of that, send me an email at j.c.smithprojects@gmail.com. and we're going to do the same application process. Tell me all about you and what you've done, what you have done, what you'd like to do, what age you are, where you're from, and if you're available, if you want to come out. And we're going to see if we can get some folks out here and just have a good time, enjoyable time building a truck. So that being said, I'm going to get this bed off now and see what we're working with. So one really cool thing about this truck that I really liked is the build spec sheet is still here. Now, I don't know how much of that we'll be able to read, but we're going to try.
Flipping it over so that he can look at the hoist better and stuff. That front's gonna break off.
Bad cross member. This side, these three are okay on. These 1, 2, 3. Nope, that one's bad. Needs replaced. That one needs replaced. That one needs replaced. So basically, it's 2 main runners, and that's only until we take a hammer and see how thin this really is. It's pretty thin to me. Go over there and look on that side, see what that looks like right in here. It might be okay. Might be usable. Right here, what's it look like?
Oh, on your side, it looks good.
So we might just cut these runners off, and we have a hinge already, and we have a hoist assembly if the hoist assembly works. So the next thing we're going to do is unhook the strap, and then we're going to hook to this hoist and see if it'll lift. That hoist looks good. It's a good hoist, and the chrome's all good. Everything pivots and turns. Yep. Everything moves. Man, we got a good hoist assembly. It's not even rotted out. Ooh, yeah. I don't know what that's rated for. I'll have to figure out the diameter of the bore, diameter of the piston. Then with the applied pressure, we can figure out what it'll lift. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy about that. We may just strip this. Strip all this crap off and keep this just the way it is, and build something with this hoist assembly. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Now the bed's off. Moment of truth. See how bad the frame is. Guess I need a hammer. I'll use this one till we find one. Then Then
Really doesn't look that bad over here.
it don't.
I mean, not
Man,
from here.
it's so-
Not from here. Well, it's dished down
What's
in here,
dangerously thin there?
yeah. The side is right there, but it's not as bad as it could be for this old a truck.
There
That's
it is.
bad.
There it is. There's the other one. We have to do it. Look and see what's hiding. That's thin. Look at that. Listen. So, guess that decides that now, doesn't it? We won't be using this frame, which really, this is just, oh, look at that. Look at all that horrible rust.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, look. Watch, this is bending.
Yeah. But I mean, all these like gouges. Is that?
Rust.
Oh wow.
Rust buildup. Then
We sure are making a mess.
it's what I do, lady. Look at there.
Yeah, but you don't have to clean it up. You don't have to clean it up.
No, that's what I pay you the big bucks for.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I'm still
so
waiting
I
for
guess
that.
we know what we're doing here, right?
I sure don't.
We're gonna clean all this up and formulate our next plan, because that frame is JUNK. Junk, junk, junk. It's a shame, it's nice up here. I mean, a guy probably could section it right here, but you can see it's a really odd size frame too. We got a tape measure?
I think we ended up leaving it outside there.
I just took a hammer, went through and knocking all the rust loose. That's exactly what we expected. Just a bunch of holes, too thin, not usable. There's a spot right there. Another spot here, and then down here is so paper thin. I just smacked it with the hammer and actually bent it. Look how much it bent down. It's like the thickness of paper. So now we're gonna get everything cleaned up, and we're gonna go chassis shopping. Let's see if we can find us a chassis to get this cab onto. Okay, doing some checks, some inspections, and getting an idea somewhat of a plan. I talked about how this is an odd size frame, and it is, and then right in this area it curves out and gets wider. Not only does it get wider this way, but the top of the frame tapers down. As you can see here, it gets much smaller, and not only that, the frame actually starts to go down closer to the ground. Steering gearbox is inboard mounted, not outboard. I'm not sure why we have this pivot here, what the purpose is. I'm assuming it has something to do with the travel of the steering arm, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. And they got the frame real wide because they set the motor down in real low. They're trying to get as low as possible. And you can see we don't have much room between the oil pan and the axle itself. Also, because they shoved it down so low and the radiator's so low, if you notice, the water or the cooling fan is not run off the water pump, it's run off the crank pulley. So that's pretty interesting. You got access doors in the bottom of the cab. That one's for the oil fill and dipstick. This one's for the coolant. One over there for the master cylinder reservoir. Those lines run down to the hydro boost that's right there. So that's pretty cool. And the radiator is like right underneath the seat, and then the engine is where it cuts up. Well, if we do anything, if we do a V8, we could probably still continue and do kind of like this way. But if we do a straight 6, then we're probably gonna have to move that radiator back to this area where we have more room, make it a little taller, and then put the engine back this way a little more. More airflow wouldn't be bad, that's for sure. I'm not sure what engine we're going to use. I got lots of options. I got a DT466, a DT360, a T444E, which if you don't know, it's just like a 7.3 similar. We have 3126 CAT. We have a 5.9 Cummins. We have a 6.7 Cummins. Things that I would like to see on this truck is air conditioning. We'll have to make our own probably. And cruise control. I would love to have air brakes. But if we can make the hydraulics work, I guess we'll just keep with that. It's got a brand new caliper on this wheel. I just noticed that. Looks like a new hose too. That looks like pretty typical older international stuff. Probably not hard to get. The steering's tight. I just would like to swap the axles just so if I need kingpins at any time, I don't have to fool with it. And changing those over to a hub pilot wheel from this Dayton wheel probably isn't going to be real easy, and it will cost me more money to do that than it will to build it my way, which I think we're just going to start with 2 frame rails and go from there and gather up all the parts we need. Now, I can't start assembly until I decide motor, transmission, tire size. After that, I can decide on the rear end ratio that we need. Here's one of our options. T444E, Allison automatic, long frame, hub pilot wheels, disc brakes. Might be a nice fit. We probably just move the engine back, cut this off, and start drilling our own holes for what we need. That's a possibility. Or we could just get this long frame I've got right here, or the one on the bottom, and start with that. The bottom one's a Freightliner. It's a nice long chassis. I think it's 20 some feet. That's more than adequate for what we need. Could probably make that work just fine. The one up above it is almost 40 feet. I don't think we really need to use that one. The bottom one's probably the best. Isn't that how it works? The one that's the hardest to get to. This one's a thinner frame. There's not a whole lot here as far as thickness, but it would be adequate. It would be adequate. Bottom one's already got an air ride suspension on it. Just have to change the axle out. It's got air brakes. We need to go to hydraulic brakes, or we need to swap it out to air brakes, which I don't think is a big deal either. I'd be much happier with air brakes. Guess I'll just keep looking, see what else I got laying around. So I've got this old U-Haul truck, and it's on 19.5s, which is a goofy wheel, ugly U-Haul wheels. But anyways, it's got a decent frame, and it's air ride rear suspension with hydraulic brakes. So that would be attractive. Only bummer is that ratio is going to be way too high. Numerically too low in a ratio for what I'd like to do. But it is an option. I'm going to use this thing one day for something, for sure. Would get us away from them Dayton hubs. I mean, I can get 8 lug 22.5s, but I don't have enough frame here because it needs to go quite a bit farther forward, I think. This is a 7.3 IDI, so let's go look and see what we got elsewhere. Now this is a good frame. Not a lot of holes in it already. It was cut off like right behind the cab of the truck. It's got an air brake axle, but we could swap in a hydraulic one if we need to. But the frame is good. It's an air ride suspension already, and I'll bet you that's from the center of the axle forward. It's got to be 16, 18 feet. I better get a tape measure. It's about 16.3, but we're not all the way forward either. Because I'm hooked on this here. So what do we got? About another 8 inches. So just under 17 feet. Missing a brake chamber. Slack adjuster still there. That's all right. I got new brake chambers. That's okay. Looks like a good suspension. Ride height valve is missing, but I probably have another one. It's a nice clean frame. That might be the one we start with. That might make good sense right there. Must have come off of International. I don't know. Maybe it's a Ford. I don't recall, but I guess it doesn't matter. If I swap the truck over to air brake, we could just use this rear end completely. I need to look at that and see if that's an option, because the way that pedal works, I could put a foot valve going the other way, and yeah, I like that idea. Let's get up there and see what ratio this rear end is. If it's like 456 or something, that'd be great. All right, so this is a 488 ratio. That would be acceptable for sure. You just have to change over to air brakes, which I'm okay with. I got far more air brake axles than I do hydraulics that I would like to use. So we have 24 feet. So we could lay out the front and then run with whatever we want back here. Okay, well, I think we may have found what we want here. I have to find a air brake steer axle though. Oh, wait, I have one. I know where it's at. Perfect. Air brake steer axle. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, look, a foot valve. Oh, look, a red engine. A cooler pack. Well, would you just look at that? Would you just look at it? Okay, well, you know what? We may have just found what we're going to do here. I don't know if a 6.7 Cummins is the best thing we could do, but look, air tanks are here. This just gets better. Outboard steering gearbox, we'll have to rotate it a little bit and change where the arm comes off of it to make it work, but I think we're okay. I think this is tentatively what we're going to do. At least that's what I think today. Now I have some other options. I got a T444E with an Allison MD3060 we could put on, but I'm thinking this 6.7 Cummins would be pretty nice in that truck. Yes, I have to think so. We don't want the manual transmission, so we'll just pull that off, and we can put our Allison on here. We have all of our mounts for the axle, spring perches. Axle looks good. Look, the axle can be, we could re-drill this axle if need be for different perches. That's why that pad is so big for different applications. Not really a big deal. Might need a brake chamber here. Tires look good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we may have just found it. The air compressor is probably no good. AC compressor and alternator. That's alright, we got others. Yeah, I need a tensioner. I remember that was broke. I took it off this and used it on the truck. So, oh look, we got an AC condenser to work with too. Air charge cooler, which can be moved. You can see the radiator's only this big. It's shorter. We can move the air charge cooler down below. Oh, they're using it for the fan too. We may just run an electric fan because we're not going to need that much, because that truck's so light, it's not going to pull that much weight. Okay, well, we may have just found what we're going to use. Yeah, let's think on it. If you guys got any other ideas, let me know. Otherwise, I think this is what we're doing. I think we're going 6-7 Cummins. It's not as tall as I thought it was. Man, look how much room's there. Wow, I could use these brackets. And there's a spacer block in there. I could get rid of the spacer block with shock, move something else. Still need our caster pitch for that axle, but we can measure it and just get one thinner. It's not a big deal. We could drop this front end down pretty good. I like it. I like it. Okay, I guess that's it for now.
I think he's just trying to get this front thing off. I have a bucket of water out here. I'll have to douse that good when he's done. We're just working on trying to get this bed torn apart so it's not just sitting around, because it's no good.
Well, the scrapyard did not want that bed. They said there was more weight in wood than there was in steel, and they were correct, because that's all we have for scrap steel. We're almost done. Didn't take too long. The side over there is ready to come off. We got one more cross member in the tail pan, and I got to run the circular saw up through here because those screws are actually encapsulated over another piece of steel, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. So but I think this is it for this video. We got the bed completely cut up now. It is all cut up and thrown into a scrap pile, and that's all it was. Sure didn't end up being very much steel, did it? But that's okay. It's cleaned up and it's gone, and we got a hoist out of it, so life's pretty good. All right, so we'll cut it here. So if you're, like I said, if you're one of the guys that maybe want to come out and be part of this, send me an email, j.c.smithprojects@gmail.com, and we'll see if we can do something. Oh, look at that. You have access through here. You can check the oil. Pretty slick. Oh yeah, we got a little more air conditioning than I thought before. That's okay. We'll patch her together. It'll be all right. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.